Welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is Thursday, July 14th, 2022. And again, a lot of people in this community doing great work. And for all the people who are contributing, what I'd ask is that you find a way to put even more time into doing the work and research. And want to talk about this, want to talk about some of the headlines today. But there's a gentleman, he calls me a lot. And I got to be honest, sometimes I just don't pick up the phone because I'm too busy. But this morning I had a minute. And every time he calls, he has something really interesting. And every time he calls, I try to inspire him to start putting the work out in his community, somewhere online, not just sharing it with me. And he's not alone. There's a lot of people in this community who do the work, who do the research, but kind of just keep it to themselves. And by the way, thank you, LAF. I've never seen a super chat before, a stream started before. I appreciate that. Thank you. But again, I need all the people like him to find more courage because this is what a lot of people lack. It's a common thing about humanity. We don't have a lot of courage. We have to build it up. And we're afraid to speak out or do anything outside of our comfort zone because we've been made fun of before. We don't want to be made fun of again. So many people are going through the same things. But again, you guys, right now is a time to be courageous. Right now is a time to be courageous. Move your boundary line. Do something a little bit different than you've ever done it before. Speak up when you haven't before. And yeah, consequences can come with it. But again, there's a lot of people in this community who could be doing more than they are now. And a lot of you guys, you shower me with emails and text messages and messages on all the different social media platforms with really great decodes, but you're not putting it out anywhere in the world. And it's not really me that you need to convince, I get it. I know this is going on. But again, if all of a sudden there's, instead of 100 people sending me an email each day about the latest decode, if you guys were putting that out in the world somewhere, let's say even if at first only 5 people found your work, well, if all 100 of you do that, that's 500 more people who found the work, and then next thing you know, out of that group of 500, there's 5 more, doing the work that's reaching 5 more people, so on and so forth. And again, we just have to recognize that those of us in this community, again, it's not an arrogant statement. Those of us in this community who recognize the importance of this work, this is the work that's going to free so many other people's minds from, what's taking advantage of their minds right now. The politics, the entertainment, the sports, the consumerism. If we're going to, overcome the evil that's upon us, the tyranny that's upon us in this world, it's going to take breaking more people out of the mind control they're under. And again, the knowledge that we have in this community, it is the knowledge to break through that mind control. And so many people right now in the world, they see what's wrong, but they're waiting for somebody to come save them when it's actually them that can be doing the saving for themselves and for others. And the other thing is just finding your courage. If you need to find a reason to find your courage to speak out, find things that motivate you. And, maybe just go outside and walk around and see, the poor child being drug around with the muzzle over his face. I was at the grocery store this morning, and here we are 48 hours after Fauci came out and said to put your slave muzzle back on. I couldn't believe how many people had their masks on today. Just like that, Anthony Fauci comes back from his illness, says it on TV, all the headlines syndicate it, and the next thing you know, everybody's back at the grocery store with their mask on. And it's just tragic to witness, knowing what we know. We've been educating about how this gang operates with the fear through the TV for all these years, and it's so simple, and everyone really could learn it and observe it and understand the way we're being taken advantage of. Anthony Fauci returns to the scene on the 201st day of his age. And most people don't have a clue what that means because they don't even know about Event 201, the coronavirus pandemic simulation, or who that number is symbolic to. So anyway, I'm speaking to the people here in this community. If you have a good handle on this work, if you can explain this work to somebody, I'm asking you to start putting it out somewhere else in the world, not just to me and my inbox. I can't keep up with all the messages each day. And, you think some people would catch on. It's like they call and tell me stuff, and I think it's interesting, but it's like I don't have a lot of time, you guys, and I don't need to hear decodes of things that I've covered a million times. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be mean to the people who feed me information, because a lot of times things are helpful, but again, you guys, it's not me that needs to be soaked in the information. I've been doing this for almost 9 years. Next month will be 9 years straight of doing this research. I do this research every day to teach more people about it so that they can teach more people about it. And again, for all the people who are here who know how important this work is, if it's just one thing you can master for teaching, do that. Master that one thing, teach it well, and put it out in the world somewhere. Put it out, make a 5-minute video about the thing that you really understand that's so important about this research, and just post it somewhere. Imagine how many people over time are going to see that. And also part of the reason I'm saying this morning is because just the censorship, man, it's just so frustrating. I can only reach so many people with all the censorship. All the deletions, all the suppression. It's like I was just saying, the last channel, GematriaEffectNews 24, it started to get a little bit of traction. It started to get a little teeny tiny bit of traction. And then, boom, the video that got the most traction, it's struck and deleted. A video from 6 months ago that who knows why it needed to be struck and deleted, but it did. And now we're back onto this channel, and we got half as many views on this channel as we did just days ago on the other channel. Actually, even worse than that. But again, that's why we need more people to overcome. There's so many forces working against us. We need to work back against it. And that's the advantage we have. There's so many of us, the them and us thing, the ruling class that's able to control so many people because of the technology and everyone looking at the same screens all day. But still, those of us who are being controlled by the few, the advantage we have over them is there's a lot of us. And if we all started speaking up and using our courage and our voice and our platforms, we could cause a 180 to happen in this world. And a lot of people right now who know there needs to be a 180, they are waiting again for that savior to come along and do the fixing for them. And amazingly, a lot of people, that the savior that they're waiting for is Donald Trump to return. And that's pretty amazing, really. That's why we need to speak out and get people out of the mind control, because Donald Trump was the president of the United States when the New World Order really walked into the country, on orders from the World Health Organization out of Switzerland. And again, I just imagine had somebody who actually cared about America been in charge, not a celebrity who's been groomed for the public and roles such as The Apprentice, but somebody who actually cared would have said, Switzerland, that's nice that you guys think this needs to happen, but we see what's going on over there, all the banking, all the corruption. I don't think we're going to take orders here in America for what you guys call a pandemic. We don't think a few elderly people dead in the nursing homes reason to lock down our country and have to be bailed out by the banks that are going to make trillions in interest on this. That's what a real American would have done. But somehow some people think this character, Donald Trump, who did just the opposite and went along with the tyranny and sold us down the river, that he's going to come back and save us. And you know what? Nobody would have ever thought that Donald Trump was their savior had they been into the things we've been into from the beginning. We've been showing how this guy's a puppet on strings since 2015 when he announced he was running, just like all the other people that make it on the TV in the world of politics and everything else. So anyhow, let me show you what needs to change in the world, because again, if we're going to get free, we need to get more informed. We need to have greater knowledge. And, what I'm going to show here is a clip from somebody who just got to go on the Joe Rogan podcast talking to another person who's got a lot of traction and got to go on a lot of shows. They might have even got to go on Joe Rogan. I'm not sure about that. They've been on a lot of people's platforms, though, that do have a big platform. So, again, I want to show a recent conversation between two men who are getting this recognition in the world for speaking about, things like politics and world affairs and the way they do. But there's a question they couldn't answer that really at this day and age everybody should be able to answer. And enough people start sharing the knowledge and information, these kind of people are going to have to face up to it too, because everyone's talking about it, so why aren't they? And let me pull up this clip real quick that I want to show you, and then we'll talk about this clip in light of today's headline and in light of, well, since they're going to be talking about Donald Trump and if he's the one or not, we'll go back and see where Donald Trump was on January 21st, 2020, gloating about his trade deal with China that was going to change the world. Where was Trump that day? On the day that coronavirus was confirmed in the U.S. for the first time. So we're going to go back over all this. Again, for veterans, you know a lot of this information already, but it's a lesson that has to keep on being repeated. So let me pull up what I need here. And we need that. And I suppose I can pull myself up here too. We need this. So let's watch this clip real quick. Let me switch up my audio setting real quick so we can hear these two gentlemen. And all right, let's watch this, and then let's recognize what's wrong with this conversation when it was had. I mean, this information and knowledge has been out there for years and years and years, and in the information age, everybody should know about it because it's been proven to be so worthwhile to millions of people, but still the biggest names in the community that are supposedly trying to lead us from tyranny, you know, they're not talking about things, and there's things they're saying they don't know that really it seems impossible not to know. And again, for all the people in the world looking to people like these two men on the screen to save them, again, you got to realize, don't be looking to anybody else to save you. Look to yourself. Go out in this world, get the most knowledge, the most information, take the most care of yourself that you can, and then do the most in your world to make the change. But at the same time, try to get other people to do the right things too. So anyway, let's listen to these two gentlemen here for a minute, and then we're going to talk about what they don't know and why they should know it, and how knowing it allows you to see through the things that are controlling society day after day after day, so that people can understand how they're being manipulated for the purpose of not being manipulated anymore. And with that said, here we go.
I'll ask the question the third time. I just want to be clear. Yes, you like Trump.
I'm a nice guy. I'll say I like him, but he's disappointing me. He's kind of just his act, and it seems like he's a scripted character at this point.
Interesting. Scripted. I don't know if I agree with scripted. I feel like he's an unscripted character, and that's what makes him unique. Why do you say he's scripted?
I'll say this.
And if he's scripted, who's writing the script?
It's a good question. Well, I saw him in Arizona at a rally right before his election, and what he was talking.
Okay, so if he is scripted, who's writing the script? They're not ever going to answer that question. They don't know. Anomaly responded to his question and said, it's a good question. And then he goes into an example of why he thinks he's scripted in Arizona. And if you don't know who these two gentlemen are, Hotep Jesus just got to go on Joe Rogan. Anomaly's gotten a lot of coverage from a lot of channels in the time of Trump. I'd say probably 4 or 5 years now. And again, if you don't know the history of Anomaly, he got kind of YouTube or internet famous, I should say, from putting out a song called I Like Trump. So he was a big Trump advocate, and then at the end of the Trump, he kind of did the Alex Jones. Alex Jones was huge on Trump, and then he kind of got down on Trump. So pretty much the same trajectory. And if you end up watching this conversation between these two people, Hotep Jesus eventually says to him, he says, well, listen, the only point I've really been trying to make this whole time is, you claim to be so wise and a leader, but you're getting people into politics, and then 2 years later you're saying, oh, never mind, I'm doing a 180 on my position. And he's saying, over here in the Hotep community, we know that politics is theater and acting and stage and lies and part of the problem. That's why we're over here in the Hotep community saying we got to homestead and take care of ourselves. So the Trident thing is interesting. I guess nobody owns that, but I just wonder about it because this guy's getting popular right now with the Trident. We're talking about the Trident symbolism everywhere. But anyway, these are the kind of people in the world that are getting recognition and getting their names promoted all over, right? And we've been here for 9 years straight, proving how valuable the knowledge and information is. And if you have this knowledge and information, you won't get fooled by things like the scripted politicians, and you'll be able to say who is behind that script. So with that said, you guys, and again, what I'm trying to get you to teach is the same thing that you're learning here and realizing is 1,000,000% real. So let's talk about today's headline real quick about the conservatives coming out against Trump with the 72-page report. Here I've been here for all these years, going back to 2016, and talking about the significance of Trump in 72. And it just keeps on happening. And it goes way beyond Trump. It goes to who is the script writer. And then, again, let's go back and see how what happened there compares with, where Trump was the day coronavirus was confirmed in the U.S. at the same World Economic Forum that did the Event 201 simulation. So anyway, Trump, 72-page report, conservatives against Trump. He's fabricating. He never won the election. It was all Biden. And remember, had you had the knowledge we had in our community, again, you have to recognize the whole supposed truth community was saying that, Trump was definitely going to win again. And, the supposed truth community advocating for conservatism in that side of politics. And, again, we were showing why it was going to be Biden, number 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday, in tribute to JFK, assassinated age 46, big Catholic number, the only two Catholic presidents. But notice, in Gematria, again, if you're new here, Gematria is a system. It's not manipulating words into numbers. It's taking the code behind the words and showing the numbers that have always been there that were purposefully designed this way. Again, you can prove that English was created with the same idea from Hebrew and ancient Greek, that each letter is a number and there's a mathematical system to words. You can prove it all day. And that's why they continue to do numerical rituals with the same numbers over and over. So the system's very simple. It's the alphabetic order forwards and backwards. And it's also forwards and backwards with numerology. And what's considered the most pure cipher is the alphabetic order with numerology. That's where both President Trump and President Biden equal 72. And they've been doing this over and over and over and over with Trump for all these years. Him in 72. When Trump announced out of nowhere he was going to pull all the troops out of Afghanistan and the Middle East, there were headlines all over that said Trump's last 72 hours that could change the world. And remember, when Biden did that, then Trump was on TV criticizing him for pulling him out so quickly when Trump was saying, 2-3 years earlier he was going to do the same thing, and then it didn't happen. Again, 72 is a very important number to the Jesuits, who were created on 72 date numerology in Paris, which equals 72, and who've done 1,072 rituals over the year. And notice how both President Trump and President Biden equals 72. Don't forget, Biden became senator-elect in 1972, the year his wife and daughter died in a car crash right after he became senator-elect. And then when his son died at age 46, Beau Biden, how old was Joe Biden at the time? He was 72. 72. A name that's important to Kabbalah. There's 72 names of God in Kabbalah. Kabbalah is where the code of letters and numbers comes from, Gematria, where in the Book of Formation it says God created the world with numbers, letters, and words. Again, this is an easy code to learn. It's elementary. Just by observing it, you can see how redundant it is. We just had the Roe v. Wade overturn. And remember, it was 72-year-old Samuel Alito with the memo leaked by the numbers. And then it got overturned on a 72-date numerology when originally the Roe v. Wade decision was 7-2. And you see how Jesuit orders 54 forwards, 72 in reverse on the screen? Remember, the Roe v. Wade reversal was a 5-4 decision. John Roberts, who's a Jesuit, his name's 54 like Jesuit order. And from the day of the memo leak to the day of the reversal was a span of 54 days. So they had 54-72 all over the ritual. Notice how the word conservative has Gematria 54 and 72. Today's headline, 72-page report about conservatives going against Trump, right? Notice also how when you run President Trump and President Biden in reverse, it's 81. And remember, Biden supposedly got 81 million votes, a record amount. And coming up on August 10th will be 81 weeks into his presidency, which is Gerald Ford's birthday. And if you don't know why that matters, you need to look into what... Excuse me, I just misspoke. Not Gerald Ford's birthday. Herbert Hoover's birthday is August 10th. You need to go back and listen to what Gerald Ford said in the Herbert Hoover Library about how we'll get the first female president who will be a vice president when the old geezer president kicks the bucket. And Kamala Harris was born on the exact same day Herbert Hoover died. Again, who's behind the script? We can answer who's behind the script, and for years we've been proving we can get ahead of the script. And what we need is more people in the world getting ahead of the script and understanding who is manipulating us for what purpose, why, so that people can understand what's really going on in the world. Again, the Jesuits served the Catholic Church, who gave us the Bible as we know it, which ends with gloom and doom and cataclysm. And a lot of people see that coming, and they're not doing anything because they were raised with these beliefs, the word with lie right in the middle, and they're expecting the cataclysm. And they think all they need to do is believe. And you see what's been done in this period of time, the advancement of technology, and now technology that's literally here that can almost replace man in so many ways, from AI to Sophia the robot. People aren't as needed for this ruling class that lives off of us and leeches off of us because they built the system to do exactly that. And again, we're reaching this day and age where we're not as necessary for them to live on their high horse and, count on us. They got things to replace us. Anyway, President Trump, Mr. 72, and again, just how it all connects. D.C., the land of the Jesuits, where John Carroll equals 54 established the first Jesuit university, Georgetown, at age 54. Again, watch They Live, Cable 54. Go back and listen to what Bill Gates said at age 54 at his TED Talk. Look at what Gavin Newsom's done this year at age 54 that factors in perfectly with what Bill Gates said when he was 54 at his 2010 TED Talk. Again, learn these numbers and see what's going on and who's in the club. Bill Gates marries Melinda Gates from a family of Jesuit priests who has the same birthday as the Jesuit order, August 15th. Of course, Gavin Newsom is a Jesuit. Anyway, Gematria. Like we said, there's 4 base ciphers, alphabetic order, forwards and backwards the rules numerology. You can see how conservative and Jesuit order fit together. And when you really think about it, it makes a lot of sense. Conservatives, politically, often identifying more as Christian, right? The Catholic Church, Christianity, the Bible, the construction of this nation, the English language, how it all comes together, the heliocentric model, all the things that we talk about. And don't forget the word son is 54, right? And understand, again, the conservatives and the liberals, they're controlled by the same entities, the divide and conquer Jesuit gang, the Jesuit Masonic Alliance, I should say. Now, with regards to getting ahead of the script, other things to think about right now. Okay. There's a lot of things to think about. Think about, here, just look at all of it right now. Look at Trump's face up there, right? And then look at the story in the top right corner. A man was charged in the rape of a 10-year-old who traveled to Indiana for an abortion. Remember when Trump was running for president and he insinuated that the Mexicans were doing all the raping? And then they got questioned on it. He said, well, somebody's doing the raping. And he was insinuating that it's the people who come across the border illegally. That's what this story is. If you haven't been following this Ohio story, then an illegal immigrant raped a 10-year-old. And then look at the other detail they get in there. Who traveled to Indiana for an abortion. Come on, man. The obvious mind control. Bringing in all these political narratives into one story. But anyway, and notice, since 2015, since Trump announced he was running, he has been the number one distraction. He is always the news. For the last 2 years of Obama being in office, we heard more about Trump than Obama. In the time of the Biden presidency, we've heard way more about Trump in January 6th, another big Jesuit ritual, than the current president, He's like a background scarecrow. But anyway, going with just the bigger theme of things taking place in the world and getting ahead of the script. Shinzo Abe. Again, with the last name ABE, just like Honest Abe, who was assassinated in a theater, so we're told. Political theater, an assassination in a theater, all the parallels with the JFK assassination. But remember, Shinzo Abe, his assassination, supposedly, was 84 days after the anniversary of the death of Abe Lincoln. Abe, both spelled ABE, which adds up to 8 in Gematria, and the latest on the 8th. But 84 days later, and in Gematria, Abraham Lincoln's 84, again, the United States of America is 84. The name Obama in Jewish Gematria is 84. His birthday is August 4th, 84. We just had, on the 4th of July, in the land of Lincoln, the mass shooting, right? But again, United States of America 84, the Jesuit Order 84, the Catholic Church 84, Superior General 84. Again, you look at that and then you also go, but beyond that, the United States of America has had diplomatic relations with the Vatican since 84. Right now we have Anthony Fauci, this Jesuit, who's been in his position, the head of NIH, since 84. Right? It's not just the words and the numbers, it's the rituals. We just had the death of the Superior General in Japan at age 84 not long before this. May 20th, 2020. Superior General equals 84. He died on the day, leaving 225 days left in the year. His name equaled 225. Again, it's obvious the Jesuit network works by this code. There's so much evidence to prove it in so many different ways with so many different examples. Jesuit equals 84 forward, 78 in reverse. This shooting on 7/8, 84 days after the death of Lincoln. Again, you learn more about tarot, English, how it all comes together. Tarot, of course, 78 cards in the deck. All these things are related. But with regards to it being the former prime minister assassinated, remember it happened 59 weeks after the Ignatian year began. John F. Kennedy was Mr. 59, and Biden won the 59th presidential election, but it happened 59 weeks after the Ignatian year began. And it happened 277 days after the Japanese current prime minister took office, which is the 59th prime number. And Independence Day equals 277. Again, the shooting in the land of Lincoln on Independence Day. Lincoln, Kennedy, both assassinated, both compared with Obama. The parallels with Biden, who was Obama's VP, and Kennedy as well through the Lincoln thing. But again, 59, right? Former prime minister gets assassinated. Kind of weird. Remember all the 59s with Obama. 59's number stamped all over Black History. It's why Black History Month ends on the 59th day of the year. Motown came out in 59 with the most simple ciphers. Slave, Negro, Blues, Rasta, they all equal 59. Obama's Secret Service name Renegades, 59. His legacy, Obamacare, equals 59. Again, former PM gets assassinated 59 weeks after the Ignatian year began. And for anybody going, well, how's it longer than 52 weeks? It's because the Ignatian year began May 20th, 2021, and it ends on the last day of this month, the day in history that Ignatius of Loyola died. So, anyhow, 59 weeks, again, 277 days after the current prime minister's birthday. That's the 59th prime. And again, Independence Day equals 277. I know I'm being redundant, but I'm making sure we got it here, how all of this stuff fits together. Remember, when I first started this research back in 2013 and 2014, I was worried that they would bring a race war, a big clash in the U.S. by assassinating Obama. And I thought that was possible because he was number 44. MLK was killed on April 4th. Malcolm X was killed on a date with 44 numerology. A lot of murders in history have a lot to do with 44, something we've documented a million times in the last 9 years. But again, shooting equals 44, execution 44, kill 44, the thing that kills people, military's military 44, the word soldiers 44, the word infantry's 44, the word troopers 44. This assassination of Shinzo Abe in the time of cancer equals 44. Just like Abraham equals 44. JFK was the 44th term president. He was number 35, but the 44th term president, because some presidents have more than one term. But anyway, it's this huge number throughout history. Again, when I first started this research, we weren't as in, the world was in, it definitely wasn't in good shape. There was a lot of things that were very concerning, but we've gotten to a lot worse place since 2013 in terms of the way things are being presented, in terms of what we've seen play out in recent years. And now all this predictive programming in the mainstream of food shortages and an even worse pandemic, and they got SPARS 2025, a totally terrible pandemic that's supposed to come. Just there's all this stuff that they're scaring us with. Black Lives Matters escalated in the way we understand it after the George Floyd riots. Again, there's just much more tension in threats, and it's like if there's a fuse, the fuse is wearing out, right? The fuse was longer in 2013 than it is now in 2022, and Obama is still number 44, right? He was actually the 43rd person to be president, kind of like how Lincoln was born on the 43rd day of the year, the Civil War president. If I remember right, I'm going to go back and check. Was it 43 days after he got elected, or was it 43 days? I got to go back and look. There's a big 43 with Lincoln in the Civil War. And don't forget, George Floyd and Gematria equaled 43. And remember, they said it was 8 minutes and 46 seconds on his neck. And then they added 43 more seconds to 9:29. Again, Civil War and George Floyd 43. All the George Floyd monuments came down. But anyway, the point I'm trying to tell you is all of these rituals that have been unfolding, they've all been by the code, like we've gone over in great detail. Again, if you guys haven't read my last book, it is free to download. Number Games 9/11 to Coronavirus. There's a big chapter on here on George Floyd and the ongoing contriving of the race war, the Civil War. But imagine if Obama's on the campaign trail. He's still a relatively young guy, born in 61. He's about to turn 61 on August 4th. But, imagine there's so many ways they can trigger the next level. More fear, more scares like the nuclear thing. A lot of you guys are asking me if I knew about the nuclear thing. All I got to say back to you guys is, do you guys ever click on my video tab and look what videos I put out? Again, you guys don't get notifications. It's called suppression. Be sure to click on the video tab. You would have seen I did a great video on the nuclear scare and why it came on July 11th in light of Donald Trump confusing 7/11 and 9/11 in Buffalo, which just had the huge 117 ritual this year. Again, you learn the knowledge, you guys, and you take the time to click on the video tab to make sure there's not a video out there. You'll see the way we're being played for fools. Again, so many ways to scare us, though. The nuclear thing, coronavirus, all the things that they put out there, the food shortages. Like I said a long time ago, if they put us in a really bad spot and then they bring the all-time most divisive psyop like Michael Ferguson and Trayvon Martin times 10, that they might get the reaction they're looking for. And we're reaching that moment now at this moment in history. And again, you learn the knowledge, you see the way we're being set up for the destruction. And if everybody understood this, whatever their next move would be, it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter if in the cards that they've planned is a staged assassination of one of the people that millions of Americans look to as a leader, whether it be Obama or Trump. There's probably not a lot in the Biden camp. But, if that's in the planned cards to have another assassination here in the U.S., which hasn't happened since JFK back in 63, Obama will turn 63 right after the Guidestones turn 44 years old. That's something to think about. Racism 63, we know what they just did in Buffalo with all the 63s. Again, racism 63, Buffalo 63, while Kathy Hochul from Buffalo was 63, while the mayor was 63, who definitely didn't win the election. But, again, the number code. It shows who's in control of the rituals, where we're being pushed, who the puppets are. You go to these gentlemen right here. Well, the one on the left, Anomaly, like he thinks Elon Musk is a good guy right now. He thinks he's a white hat fighting for us because he doesn't have the knowledge. Again, he's a puppet on strings. You can prove it all day with every last thing he does. His whole Twitter thing's a big joke. 115th day of the year, he supposedly puts in the purchase. Twitter equals 115 when you run it forwards. 74 days later, he wants out. Twitter equals 74 and you run it in reverse. Jesuit order, 144.54. He makes an offer of $54 a share on 14/4, the anniversary of Lincoln's assassination. What's Shinzo Abe equal? 144. What's the name of the president in Haiti who got assassinated a year ago? What's his name equal? 144. Lincoln shot on 14/4. JFK dead 144 days from meeting with the Pope. His brother RFK dead at 144 in the morning. Jesuit order 144. President Biden 144. The simulation of Biden in Jesuit Georgetown 144 days before the election that he would win. You guys, there's so many little lessons in just all the things I'm talking about in this video that if you just took one of those things that you think is more meaningful to you than other examples, you could put that out there. Remember, Uvalde just happened on the 144th day of the year, right after Buffalo had its shooting exactly 144 days after the anniversary of the death of Peter Canisius. And the Jesuit school Canisius is right down Jefferson Street, 3/4 of a mile from the tops where the shooting was. So, again, there's just so many little things. And if you just took a little snippet, or maybe you don't even want to put yourself out there. Maybe you want to create your own YouTube channel and just take like a clear moment, a moment that you like from this channel, and just put it out there on your own channel. Learn Gematria, GematriaEffectNews, Zachary K. Hubbard, and you just put the video out there, and it's just a clip of my own work. That helps the work get out there more. That's another way to do it if you don't want to put your own voice, your own face out there, if you don't want to explain it yourself. And if you're saying, well, how do I do that? You know, if you do a web search for download YouTube video, you will find about 15 different websites where you can download a video from YouTube. And then when you download it, if you open it, my guess is your computer is a lot like mine. A lot of stuff's automated now. It'll allow you to edit the video where you can just take a segment. Maybe it's an hour-long video. You just want to upload 2 minutes. You just cut everything around it, save the 2-minute video, and just re-upload it. And YouTube's really easy. You know, you make a YouTube account to upload. You click upload video, and then you upload the file on your computer. I mean, everybody can be doing this stuff to help get the word out more, and that's what it's going to take to get past the suppression. Because I got to admit, you guys, every time I get just like deleted and censored, and then it's like you were just up to in 2018 when we were last booming, having a lot of people watch the videos. Since then, almost no one. Even though you're working just as hard, it's frustrating because it's like, God, it's been years now since this work had the impact it deserved. And you can tell when you're having an impact, people start buzzing about it. It hits a few channels. We gotta make the buzz happen and make it not go away until everybody gets this into their truth seeker diet, if you will. I mean, this is the knowledge to expose what's going on. And with regards to foreshadowing, you guys, part of the reason they got Trump up there today talking about this thing with the insurrection, which had to do with the presidency, is because it's July 14th. It's 14/7, like 147. And where does that number fit in with the White House? There's 147 windows on the White House. Not an arbitrary number. Freemasonry equals 147. The first man, in D.C., the Masonic city, George Washington the Mason, Freemason, 147, conspiracy, 147, U.S. President, 147, and President of the United States, 147. And what's interesting about it being 147 windows is the word window equals 74, like Masonic, like George Washington, like the rest of the big 74 list. English, London, Gematria, Cult, Energy, Tarot. Did we say Gematria? Of course, killing. Of course, holiday. 3 of the first 5 presidents dead on 7/4. Independence Day. Independence Day also 74. Again, that's why you need the ciphers to see the system, how it all comes together. And by the way, I was just thinking about Obama's legacy being Obamacare, which we've always known equals 59. But I was thinking more about that. I was like, oh yeah, it has a lot to do with medicine and hospitals. Isn't it funny that hospital, chemo, cancer, medicine, they're all 44. Just like military, Pfizer's 44. Pfizer with the big military campaign, Operation Warp Speed to get out the vax. Of course, the other pharmaceutical companies were part of that too, Moderna and Johnson & Johnson. But Pfizer, the biggest beneficiary. And by the way, the name of the report today, the 72-page report, it's Lost, Not Stolen, which equals 47. Trump makes his return to Truth Social, which equals 47 days before his birthday. Trump 47, President 47, White House 47, Government Authority, Republican, Democrat, Whig, DC, they're all 47. In the land of Lincoln, the man who created the Republican Party out of the Whig Party, which both equal 47, he said 7 years ago. And then Mr. 47 with the 47 tattooed on his temple, with a 47 on his car, he's shooting up, the parade on the 4th day of the 7th month. The word foundation, 47, foundation, the Masons, 47th problem of the Euclid. And also in this report today, they said there are 60 court cases that are part of the 72-page report. 60. Of course, Donald Trump equals 60. The next election's the 60th. Donald Trump also equals 48 if Biden doesn't finish his term. Trump very well could become number 48 in the 60th election, 48 and 60. Sarah Sutherland, thank you. Sarah Sutherland sent a CashApp for $10, as she so often does. And I woke up this morning and Sarah Sutherland, I was at the grocery store. Sarah Sutherland slightly helped bring a smile back to my face because I just thought, man, this Sarah Sutherland, she is just so kind, this person, with her generosity. But I was at the grocery store looking at all these people back in their slave muzzles. It looked like it did, 8 months ago. And all of a sudden I got a Cash App that pops up on the phone. I was trying to use the Kroger app to get the discount on the the produce, but pops up, Sarah Sutherland sent you $5. I'm like, wow, she sends like money in every live stream, but then D26 wants in right now. D26, did you hear the beginning of this stream? All right. D26, I'm going to put you on, but again, you're one of these people that I love, but I want you to put out the work yourself. I don't need any more because I can't even get everything written down in a book right now that needs to be in there, but you're really good at making videos. I want you to get the work out there and not tell me about it. But since we are on the live stream, again, I just the other day you were calling while I was working on the book, and I really wanted to pick up, but I'm like, I just want him to put the work out there and not give it to me. So what is it, D26?
So I probably also commented this on the last video just before the stream that you have asked this several times, and I've noticed that you have asked this several question about all the mass shootings and all the mass problems. Whether it's a mass shooting, an event of terrorism, or a killing, or a suicide, you have answered this question: are these real or are these orchestrated? So I might have a clue to that answer, might have an answer to that, or maybe just a clue to that.
Okay, well, I'm not even done with my presentation yet, so what is it that you wanted to chime in here right now?
It's about, have you ever heard about the name Strategic Operations Incorporation?
No.
So basically what I would say, it's long story short, I was reading a book about 26/11, which is kind of the 9/11 of India. So I've talked about this, right, in the past, the attacks in Mumbai.
Here's what I want you to do about this, D26. I want you to make a video about it or a post and just upload it, please. Okay? I got to get off in 2 minutes because we're going to eat over here, but I appreciate it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, thanks.
No problem. Thanks for beginning.
Okay, I'm not mad at D26. He's doing awesome work. It's just, he's I gotta be honest, he's calling a lot when I'm asking people not to call me, and he's got all this great research and information to share, but you guys, I'm overloaded. I can't even finish my book. I'm asking you guys to put the work out in the world, not call me with more things to put. It's just, So anyway, to get back to the point about Donald Trump and how you can see this man's a perfect puppet on strings. Again, I was presenting this live in person in Washington State. They would not let me get up on the stage. If you guys, again, it was like a conservative anti-lockdown rally, and there was a stage that was supposedly open for people to come and speak and get a message out there. But when I tried to go on the stage, two big bodyguards strapped with guns told me I would not get on there. And I was like, why can't I get on there? They're like, this place isn't for you. I was like, what do you know about me? And again, you guys, it was like what happened to me when I was in Oklahoma City. A very similar situation. Shout out to King Henry, who was there with me. King Henry got afraid. King Henry was like, Zach, I think we better back up. These guys got guns. I was just like, yeah, they're not going to shoot anybody. But you guys, at an event that was supposed to be an open mic to get out the word about the anti-lockdowns, they kept me from getting off the stage, which showed that people who were there knew who I was. And also, remember Glenn Beck, the Blaze, he stole exactly what I told his crew about and turned it into this political thing. And what I told them that day and what I was trying to get on the stage and talk about was this exact thing right here. And the whole world should know about this right now. The book's been free to download forever. The information's been out there for over 2 years now. Where was Trump the day that coronavirus was confirmed in the U.S., and why does this show how perfect of a ritual it was and why he was the chosen puppet for all the planned things we're living out? Again, that's, this clip we watched here where these guys don't know. It's just, this conversation was recently. I guess this conversation is about a year old, but you know what? This conversation was more than a year after I talked about what I'm already going to show now. And again, everyone should know about this information. There's no other information in the truth community that connects more dots and shows what's going on. But again, Trump, on January 21st, 2020, that's the exact day they confirmed coronavirus in the U.S. And to go even further about that first confirmed case, they said it arrived in the U.S. January 15th. Trump signed his trade deal with China on January 15th, and then he was in Switzerland at the World Economic Forum to gloat about it the day it was confirmed, which was his 222nd day of his age. And in the most simple cipher, World Economic Forum is 222, Wuhan coronavirus is 222, New York is 222, Event 201, which was the simulation for the pandemic right before then, is 222. When you run the alphabetic order in reverse, order out of chaos is 222. And for anyone who thought that was a fluke, remember what happened this year on February 22nd. You had the leader of the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, addressing the world about Russia-Ukraine, and then you had Joe Biden at 2:22 p.m., 2:22 p.m. sharp, go before the nation and talk about, the conflict with Russia, Ukraine, and why energy prices were surging. Order out of chaos. Agendas. The same stuff over and over. Remember, chaos equals 19, COVID-19. We have a new dominant strain in 2022, and they're still calling it COVID-19, which came 19 years after 9/11 and the 19 hijackers. And again, I mean, how can people who are getting to go on Joe Rogan and get all these big platform attention? I mean, in a way, it's a rhetorical question, because we know that controlled opposition is a real thing, and the cabal's idea is to put a lot of information out there that leads people nowhere and drown out the real truth and suppress the real truth tellers. But my God, man, how can these people, the Hotep Jesus thing, the only thing I gotta say that's suspicious about this guy is the whole trident thing, but there's not a claim on that symbol. If you don't know about all the research and work we've done over here in this community on the trident and where it fits in with Russia, Ukraine, and 9/11 and Operation Neptune Spear to kill Osama bin Laden. Again, the trident's a very important symbol to the cabal. And again, you learn this knowledge, you see how much is behind the symbol. But again, this research, this work, everybody should be talking about it. It exposes how big of puppets these people are. And it's obvious, I can understand why a Glenn Beck of the world takes the information I give his The Blaze. Again, I did an interview with The Blaze at that same event where they wouldn't let me on the stage. And they took it all in. And then the next thing you know, Glenn Beck's doing his big report on Event 201 and making it blamed all on liberals and Democrats. It's just like, oh my God, man. Just totally ignoring where Trump fits in with all this as he signs off on the huge banker deal on the 85th day of the year. Again, the word Templar is 85. So is the Jesuit motto, Isus Hominum Salvator, and the Templar cross is in the Jesuit logo, and the original bankers of the Templars. You don't have to wonder why Trump's signing off on the 85th day of the year on the big banker scandal out of Switzerland where the World Health Organization is. You see who runs the show. And yeah, the only way we're going to stop the show is when, millions of people are sharing about the same things. And it could happen. If millions of people were covering this kind of content every day, there'd be a big buzz. Millions upon millions of people would learn about it, and things would change. If there were millions of people as persistent as I am out here day after day showing how this is what's going on worldwide, things would change. So it's going to have to take that kind of effort, you guys. It's going to have to take that kind of effort. And anyway, here's Sweet Lady's making some extra noise in the background to remind me that my 2 minutes is up. So, by the way, I just gotta say one more thing though. When they signed off on that big deal for the banks, the big bank in London, England, where the Jesuits created modern Freemasonry. It was 325 years old at the time, 325. And you see where Scottish Rite of Freemasonry is 325? Just like the Council of Nicaea in the year 325 AD, Scottish Rite of Freemasonry also has gematria of 143 like the Federal Reserve. And again, the rites for the Scottish Rite were written by Jesuits. And DC is the land of the Scottish Rite and the Jesuits. It's just so easy to see that this is the alliance. This is who the controllers are. This is who, it created the code, synced up the language. And by understanding it, you can see right through what's going on. Ritual after ritual. Templar 85, the big banking deal on the 85th day of the year. Go back after 9/11. When did we invade Afghanistan, where the old crusades happened? On the day leaving 85 days left in the year. Same stuff over and over. All wars are bankers' wars, including the war on germs. And, I'm just, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. I don't mean to, a lot of people see me as, condescending towards other channels, and people be like, oh yeah, Zach thinks your work's stupid if it doesn't have gematria. It's because of this right here. Two men talking about things they don't know and just like, yeah, that is a good question. I don't know. Why don't you know? Because you haven't done good enough research. And why are people who haven't done good enough research being the ones in the spotlight all the time? Why is Joe Rogan bringing on a guy who doesn't know the answer to simple questions that everybody should know at this day and age? Joe Rogan's comfortable, man. Joe Rogan got a $100 million contract by the numbers, I'm being somewhat rhetorical, but I'm also trying to inspire more people to help out because you guys, I've been pushing a lot of weight for 9 years, and I got to be honest, man, I am tired and exhausted of doing this, and it hasn't reached nearly as many people as it should. And the only way it's going to finally reach the audience it does is if way more people start helping get out the word. And let me say thank you to the super chatters real quick, and then I got to sign off here before Sweet Lady strangles me. Okay, I know LAF chipped in $10, and okay, shout out to LAF. LAF also chipped in $1 more, so $11 there, and shout out to Sarah Sutherland who chipped in 10 on the Cash App. I do appreciate the donations. If we can get the sub count way back up on Patreon, pledging $1 a month. Again, you guys, I said that the minute we hit 7,000, but we've gone way down. We've gone way down since I said that. Once there's 7,000 people on there pledging $1 a month, the minute it happens, I will hop in the car and drive down to Silicon Valley, and you know what? I'll take their number. I'll take 72. Where'd it go? 72. I'll show you a good 72 ritual. It won't really be a ritual, though. It'll just be organic. But I will go out there for 72 hours straight in protest on the big tech campus. You know? Whatever it takes to get the word out there. I'll just drink a lot of coffee. But, yeah, I could talk for 72 hours straight about all the censorship and how evil it is. So, anyway, big things need to happen. People need to up their knowledge base. They need to up their courage. And then we need to organize a network. And imagine that, 50 different people who care about truth and everything going on bring their community of between 20 and 100 and more people. If all that showed up, you'd have thousands of people gathered at the door of big tech to say, listen, these are the people you're censoring. Here, I want to talk to you guys about why you continue to... How does your platform take down my video for medical misinformation when it's about what's going to happen on January 6th based on my research? And don't forget, I predicted everything about January 6th correctly before it happened and why there would be a death because it was simulated at Jesuit Georgetown's Transition Integrity Project. Everything about my prediction was right. That video was the last video I had that got over 50,000 views, which is pathetic because that used to be an easy number to get a long time ago. But that video got struck for medical misinformation when it had to do with what was going to happen on January 6th. And just the other day, how are my videos getting taken down on the significance of a 628 story about a vegan burger that tastes like human flesh when my video is about how it aligns with the Bible verse 2 Kings 6:28 about cannibalism, 6:28 in the verse, 6:28 in the date? How's that medical misinformation? Why are you guys doing this? Do you not see the problem with this? You know, the sad reality is we might live in a future where it is Soylent Green and those programmers who sold away our future censoring the truth for 100,000 to 300,000 a year, they might at that point wake up to why maybe it was wrong that they were censoring people's voices. Didn't I take down that guy's video years ago who was warning about that Bible verse and that thing about the human tasting burger? Yeah, it's going to be too late then. And that's the point, guys. It's getting late in the game. Late in the game. And again, I don't know how much longer people are going to, stay complacent. And it's got to change. Thank you, HSB. I see your super chat. Canadian 10. Appreciate your work. Never give up. Never give in. We got this. Rise together, family. I appreciate the enthusiasm. We're only going to have this if more people step up and do their part. So I got to close with those words. And if you're one of those people who feels like they could do more, then please do. So we'll leave it there for now. And until next time.